Hi, I'm Paul Clark from Redmond Software, and today I'm going to demo to you Subtask Manager for Jira Server. Subtask Manager allows you to create multiple subtasks, linked issues, or epic issues easily. You can either do this automatically during the creation of an issue or transition between two statuses, or you can do this manually from within an issue. Subtask Manager uses templates to define commonly used groups of issues so that they can be created multiple times with a minimum effort. It also has executors which will create those issues during a given workflow transition or creation of an issue. Subtask Manager has templates for creating issues. So the templates define which issues you want to create and what the values in those fields. You can either have a global template, reach from the subtask menu up here. Global templates allow you to create a template that's available to all projects within Jira. And you also have project templates. So in every project, there's an STM templates menu, which allows you to create templates that adjust for that project. So come in and click on this to add a new template. I'll call this dev and test. And the name is just something that will help you recognize it. Up here we have a feature level. I'll get on to explain this as I go through developing this actual template. Down here we have an issue. One issue, I can create another issue if I want. That way this template will have two issues. I come in here and do dev for the first one and test for the second one. This thing here shows that we want to copy the summary from the parent and add in -dev and -test onto this. We have various fields here. We have the reporter, so I can say one like Chad the reporter, description, issue type, priority, and fixed version. These are available for the light feature set, and these are the only fields available for that particular feature set. We have copy from parent. So you can see up here, I have reporter. I can click on this here as well. That will copy the reporter from the parent issue when I have not defined a reporter for the issue I want to create. So in this first one, it will set the reporter to Chad Vader, and in the second one, it will copy it from the parent. Now you will notice some of the fields down here are grayed out. This is because these fields are not available on the create screen of an issue in this project. This is a restriction from Jira. You cannot create issues that don't have those fields within the create issue screen. If you want to do it, just go into the project admin screens and edit, and then you can use those. We also have little question marks here. If you hover over those, they will give you help on the various fields. Like for instance, these two summary and description fields, you can add more variables apart from $summary. You can add in the type, reporter, and several others. If I go up here and change the feature set to basic, you see the difference in this is that we now have a show fields area up here to say which fields I want to show. So I can say get rid of fixed versions and description, but I want to add in a custom field. So in that custom field, I want to make that the business owner. This one can be Chad. This one Paul. Also down here you can see we have some more copy from parent. These are the custom fields. There's a limit in which custom fields can be copied, but I think most of those popular ones are there. If not, give me a yell and I can probably add it for you. And we also, if you have Jira software, allow you to copy the Epic link and Agile sprints. Lastly, at the bottom, we have repeating template. By clicking this, I can say whether I want to repeat on components or fixed version. So I chose components, then rather than necessarily creating 2 issues here, it will depend on the number of components within the parent issue. So if I have no components, then no issues will be created. If I have 1 component, then 2 issues will be created, this one and this one. And if I have 5 components, then 10 issues will be created. 5 of this one and 5 of this one. You can also do things like repeat item. This allows you to specify the component or the fixed issue that you're repeating on. So this allows you to have a bit more of a reference to what they're created for. Then we have advanced feature level. At first glance, this doesn't look any different, but when you hover over a field, we have checkboxes down here in the More menu, which will allow you to create or remove fields that are just for this particular issue. It doesn't affect this issue down here, which has its own one. The top menu up here, top checkboxes up here still refer to everything, but the individual issue ones allow you to tweak that. And we also have advanced static, which is the same, but these checkboxes are always displayed. It saves things moving around and resizing as you're going over top with the mouse. I'll just change this back to basic. Click Save. I'll create another one here called Analysis and Development. 2 issues in this as well. Now, for the things like reporter before, we just showed we had one particular reporter. You can say things like, for this one, I want the reporter to be the assignee from the parent. And you can also do the reporter. So you can copy the reporter value to the parent or the assignee and assign them to either of these fields. Now, if I just go across to global templates, just to show you what the difference is here. We already have one. I click on and edit that. You'll see that we have this here, visibility. This allows you to determine whether this template will be available to be manually created within issues, which we'll come to later, or only for executors. And you also see that the due date here is available where it wasn't in the project one, because a project somewhere has this field. So therefore, it's available as the global template. Now, this may create an error when you're in a project and you go to create this issue and that project doesn't have due date in the create screen, then you'll get an error. So you need to sort of police that yourself. Within each issue, we have some new functionality. We have create bulk epic issues, linked issues, subtasks. And we also have delete bulk epic issues, linked issues, and subtasks. If I just click on subtasks for the moment, you'll see something that's very similar to the create template screen. At the top here, we have a template to create. Now, you do not have to create a template. You can create a freely defined group of one or more issues. So I could come down here and just say new issue, click on that, and then that will create a subtask with an issue type of subtask with a summary being the parent minus new issue. But I can also come through here and say, oh, I want to do an analysis and development. And here's a copy of that template that we created earlier. Now I can change this in here, and this won't affect the template itself. It'll just be for the one I'm creating. I can do that just by clicking on that. And you see, successfully created 2 issues. There they are down here, analysis and development. I go back in, say I want to create epic issues this time. Dev and test. You need to select an issue type with this. This is just the default issue type. If you don't, you'll get an error back from when you're trying to create it. And so I can add another one in here. Called analysis. So it's just an extra step here. And I want to assign that to 4. So I'll create that. And as you can see, we have the 3 here, dev, test, analysis. And come down here and say, oh, I want to get rid of some or all of those. And I can also do the same with the other ones. So that's how you manually create and delete bulk subtasks, linked issues, or epic issues. Subtask Manager also allows you to automatically create subtasks, linked issues, or epic issues. This is through executors. So we have global executors, which is up from this menu at the top here, and we have project level executors. As per templates, global executors you can define which projects you want them to run on, one or more projects, and the project level ones will only run within that project. Just create a new executor. Just give it a name here. Now we can do this on particular transitions. We can say, hey, when I create a new issue, I want to create some epic issues called dev and test and assign them to the issue type of bug. Or likewise, I can say I want to do it on a particular transition. So if I'm transitioning to in progress, then this will say on transition to in progress, say create some linked issues of type bug and call them the link type of relates to. So that anytime I go to in progress, it will check this executor and execute it depending on the conditions down here, which we'll get to soon. So I can also narrow it down to say, hey, you can only do this when I'm coming from to do to in progress. So if I happen to be done and I went to in progress, then it wouldn't do it. And we can do subtasks, same thing, the issue type. And we can also have unconnected issues. This allows you to create issues that are not linked in any way. So they're not epic issues, they're not linked issues, they're not subtasks. They're created within the same project using the template, but you will not see them related in any way on the parent issue. Now, if I just set this one here back to subtasks for dev and test, I'll just make this going to in progress from anywhere, give it the issue type of that. Now, down the bottom here, we have conditions. We can either test the value of a field. The conditions say when this executor runs. So if this comes in and says, oh, have I just done a transition? Yes. And I've gone to in progress from anywhere else. That's fine. That's great. Now I need to check these conditions before I go and run that. So if you want to say that you only want to do that for a particular issue type, say epic issues, then you can do that. You can do more than one. You could say I want to do epic and story, and then it'll only run going to in progress on epic and story issue types. You can do as many of these as you want, but you just have to remember that these are logically ANDed together. So if you have more than one, all the conditions must be true. You can also say who the current user is. So if I want to say this will only happen when Paul does this, Paul is the current user who's transitioning that issue, then that's how I do it. Just save that. We also have the edit, duplicate, and delete for that. Global executors are basically the same as project executors with one exception. So if I say dev and test for this one, you'll notice that there's a 4 projects. So I can enter in as many projects here, and this executor will only fire for those projects. If another project has the same conditions, it will ignore it. In progress. Do a security check. You can see there's a global template here that I can see. You can't see project templates within a global executor. So those templates also have to be global templates. Now, just a word of warning around executors. These are quite powerful. It is possible that you can define a runaway case where, say you said, when I create this issue, I want to create a linked issue. And that executor fires for the original issue, but if the conditions are too lax, then it will fire for the second one. So that will then create a third, which will fire the executor again, which will create a fourth, etc., and just be a runaway case. If you accidentally do that, then just click on this, click enabled and save. And when it comes to doing the new issue, the new template, it will stop because it's disabled. So as soon as enable is checked, it will be active again, but only for the next transition or the next create issue that you want. So as an example of an executor working, come into this particular issue, and if I now change to in progress, see it's been updated. Now the epic's created and 2 subtasks have been created as part of this. You also can get a pending message if the thing's taking a while, so that it tells you it's coming, then it will show you the message when it's done and then refresh the issue. It's also possible that if your system's quick enough that you won't get any of those messages, that the epic issues, subtasks, linked issues will just appear when the issue is refreshed. If during an automated issue creation using executors, you have an error, the error will be displayed within the parent issue, just as a pop-up. You can close that, but if you want to go back to see what that error was, or if you want to see if there's any errors being created in general that maybe the users haven't noticed, then you can go to the project admin and then into STM errors, and you will see all errors here. So for this particular example, for STM1 being the parent, I went from to do to in progress, and it created this error message. The error message basically says that I try to create subtasks for an epic. Epics are not allowed subtasks. So it created the issues, it tried to link them, but it couldn't link them through to the epic. Now, this is good for errors, but if you're just trying to generally debug your executions, you're trying to find out what is happening. How do I know why this has failed, or has this succeeded? Then I can go to the STM Audit tab, and that shows me a list of all executioner checks that have been running during a transition. So as you can see here, these two templates were created, one having 2 issues, one having 1 issue at this time, and took this long to do with no errors. So you can see you also have a little icon on the side here. You click on that, and that will give you a bit more in-depth about what is actually happening. It's a good way of finding out what's happening, because you have the little tick here, which means that conditions are passed. This one down here didn't pass. Conditions weren't met. Subtask Manager has several configuration screens and another audit screen for the templates. These are only visible to systems administrators within the add-ons tab and underneath the Subtask Manager section. The first one is configuration. This allows you to control access to the global templates, global executors, and the project templates and executors. At the moment, the global ones are only accessible to the systems administrators, while the template and executors for projects are available to project admins only. If you want more people to have access, you can simply come in here and enter in a group. So if I type in a group, so I want Jira core users to use it, I can just add them in there. And it's the same with this. So it's just user groups, and you can create them and add who you want to those groups. Now we also have language support. We have 2 languages available, English and German. At the moment it's just automatic, and it will pick up which one it wants, so you can change that by clicking on another language if you like, to English, or if you don't like the way things are, you can create your own language based on an existing one. So I can create a new language. And from there I can edit various options, add in new text for the various buttons, etc. This goes off the bottom a bit because of the size of the screen I got for recording. But you can go in and change any of the lines of text that you find within the app. You can also set that to default if you like. Delete that and set it back to auto for the default. Now we have a getting started page, which just has a bit of documentation. We defined it. And we also have a template change logs page. Now this keeps an audit of who has changed templates. So for instance, up here, I created a analysis and development template, and then deleted it at 2:38. I then recreated that again, so it's a different instance, at 2:51. That's why we've got multiple here. Now we only keep the history for about 3 months. So the ones you see with no audit data means that they've been around longer than that, and there is no changes, just the existing template that's found in the template screen. That's it for the demo. Hopefully that was useful. If you have any questions or need any help, or even have a feature request you'd like, please don't hesitate to contact me. The details are on the marketplace under the link up here, Red Moon Software. Thank you.